The Lazy Girl. In English. In a faraway village there was a house where a husband and a wife lived, each with a daughter from a previous marriage. The wife showed great favoritism towards her own daughter, showering her with new clothes and never asking her to perform any chores. As a result, her daughter grew incredibly lazy, spending her days doing nothing but admiring herself. In stark contrast, the wife treated her stepdaughter with extreme harshness, often demanding, "Why are you sitting here? Get up and clean the house." Even if the stepdaughter had just cleaned it that morning, despite being forced to do all the housework, the diligent stepdaughter never complained, performing the same tasks repeatedly without tiring. Her father, witnessing this mistreatment, felt his heart ache for his daughter, but was powerless to intervene. Over time, he became weak and unwell. Filled with sorrow, he apologized to his daughter, lamenting that he could not provide her with anything. However, his daughter lovingly reassured him, saying, "No, Father, don't be sorry. You loved and cared for me all my life. It's my turn now to take care of you. I will work and earn a lot of money. This is a difficult time for us. It will be over soon." Quietly listening to this exchange, the stepmother devised a plan. She would send the stepdaughter away to work for a wealthy family, ensuring that whatever money she earned would be hers, thus securing the life she had always desired for herself and her own daughter. The stepmother then cunningly presented her plan, telling the stepdaughter that her father remained ill and there were other expenses, suggesting she go work as a good servant for a wealthy family. When the stepdaughter questioned why her own daughter was not sent instead, the stepmother scoffed, explaining that her daughter was too concerned about her pretty hands and her tiny feet, fearing she would lose her beauty if she worked. She callously added that the stepdaughter was not that beautiful anyway, implying that sending her off to work would cause no harm. Thus it was decided that the very next morning, the diligent girl would leave to seek employment with a wealthy family. Her father, however, tried to dissuade her from working, but she steadfastly refused, asserting, "No, Father, I want to work. Nothing comes out of neglecting our duties. Don't worry, you have taught me well. I know one day my efforts will be rewarded." The following morning, the girl prepared to depart. Her stepmother cruelly provided no food or water for her journey, but the girl did not mind. Her father bid her farewell, imparting crucial advice: "Take good care of yourself, my child, and remember, never say no to anyone asking for help, and be diligent. Whatever you do, do it with all your heart." The girl promised to remember his words, and then the father and daughter parted ways. The girl walked for days from hill to hill, yet found nothing and saw nobody, but she did not lose hope. She constantly recalled her father's wisdom: never say no to anyone asking for help, and be diligent. Whatever you do, do it with all your heart. She resolved to focus on finding work and to do so with all her heart, no matter how long it took. Vowing not to give up, a little further along her path she encountered a talking tree completely dried up, which asked for her help in getting rid of its dry branches, promising a good deed in return. Without hesitation, the girl agreed. She then climbed up and tirelessly broke all the dry branches with her hands, not stopping until the tree was completely clean of dried twigs and ready to grow new leaves and fruits. The tree expressed its gratitude, and the girl continued on her journey. A little further, she discovered a dying vine with a strange-looking spade beside it. The vine spoke, asking if she would plow near its roots in exchange for a good deed. The girl took the spade and began to plow diligently, her hands becoming sore from the effort. When asked if her hands hurt, she simply replied, "That's all right, they will heal. You were in need, and I had to help you." The vine thanked her, and she proceeded onward. Her path then led her to a broken oven, which called out for her assistance, asking her to clean it and make it tidy, also promising a good deed. Observing the many cracks in the oven, the girl thoughtfully brought some mud, mixed it with her feet, and then used it to cover all the cracks, making the oven look as good as new. Despite her hands and feet getting dirty, she assured the oven it was fine, as she could clean them with water, reiterating her belief that she had to help because the oven was in need. The oven thanked her and she moved on. Continuing her journey, the girl came across a broken well that requested her to take out its stale water and make it tidy, promising a quick deed in return. The girl without hesitation drew out all the stale water, cleaning the well. Even though her clothes became dirty, she calmly stated that she could clean her clothes later, and that the well was in need, so she had to help. The well thanked her, and she walked ahead. A little further, she heard a cute little voice and found a muddy dog with long hair. The dog asked if she would trim its hair and give it a bath at the river, also in return for a good deed. The girl obliged, and the dog now looked happy and healthy, thanking her. After washing herself at the river, the girl continued her journey. As darkness fell, she encountered a house where 7 fairies lived. She politely asked if she could stay the night, explaining she was looking for work. The fairies offered her a place to work, instructing her to clean all 6 of their rooms every day, but warning her never to enter the 7th room. The girl, immensely grateful, agreed, promising to do as they said. For an entire year, the girl diligently woke up every day and cleaned all 6 rooms, never once looking at the forbidden 7th room. When 1 year had passed and she had earned enough money, she wished to return to her ailing father. Before she left, the fairies questioned her, asking why she had never been curious about the 7th room. She explained, "My father taught me to always follow my duty, for as long as I worked here, my duty was to obey you." Pleased with her honesty and impressed by her diligence, the fairies led her to the 7th room, which contained heaps of gold and silver coins. They instructed her to roll over the coins, telling her that whatever stuck to her would be hers. The girl rolled first in the heap of gold coins, and then in the heap of silver coins, shining like a star. As coins adhered to her body, she waved goodbye to the fairies and departed. On her way back home, she first encountered the dog she had bathed, which now had long pearls instead of hair. The dog invited her to take as many pearls as she wanted, reminding her of the help she had given when it was in need. The girl wrapped strings of pearls around her hands, legs, and neck, thanking the dog. Before continuing a little further, she found the well she had cleaned. The well offered her water to quench her thirst, noting that many jugs were kept nearby for travelers. The girl took a jug, filled it, and drank to her heart's content. Thanking the well before moving on. Next, she came upon the oven. She had mended the oven too, invited her to eat fresh bread and cake, acknowledging her past help. The girl ate as much as she desired and took some for her father, then thanked the oven and walked away. Further along, she found the vine she had plowed. The vine offered her fresh wine, which she drank as much as she wanted, and also took some for her father, thanking the vine. Finally, she found the tree she had helped, now green and bearing fresh pears. The tree offered her pears, which she ate to her fill and plucked some for her father before thanking the tree and continuing her journey home. Upon her return, she was overjoyed to find her father healthy and waiting for her at the door. She ran to him and hugged him tightly. When her stepmother saw her, she was shocked to witness her husband's improved health and the daughter's newfound wealth, as she was covered from head to toe in gold, silver, and much more. Ignoring the stepmother, the father and his diligent daughter walked inside. Realizing her husband would not allow her to have any of the wealth, the stepmother immediately called out to her own daughter, urging her to go seek work with a wealthy family, demanding, "Listen now, you have to learn more than her. I got faith in you," she ambitiously declared. "She got pearls, you will get me rubies." Her daughter waved goodbye and began her journey. She had not walked long when she encountered a completely dried up tree, the same one her stepsister had helped. The tree asked for help removing its dry branches in return for a good deed. The lazy girl rudely retorted, "Are you serious? I will not dirty my clean hands on my pretty feet for your dried branches, no matter what," and walked ahead. A little further, she came across a dying vine which asked her to plow near its roots for a good deed. Again she refused, exclaiming, "Under this burning sun I will not dirty my clean hands and my pretty feet for your dying root, no matter what," and continued on. Further on, she found a broken oven that requested her to mend it for a go. ODD, but she flatly refused to dirty her clean hands or pretty feet. Then she encountered a well that asked her to clean it for a good deed, but she scoffed, "You are a well of water, clean yourself. I will not dirty my pretty hands on my pretty feet no matter what." A little further she came across a dog who asked for a bath, but the girl ran away screaming, "Jewel dunderheads and her pretty feet no matter what." Eventually she arrived at the house of the seven fairies just as her stepsister had. The fairies offered her a place to stay for 1 year and clean all 6 rooms, reminding her not to enter the 7th room. The girl agreed, and every day she would wake up and clean the 6 rooms. However, her curiosity quickly overwhelmed her and she entered the 7th room. Inside it was dark, and instead of gold and silver coins there were frogs and honeybees. They stung her so badly that she was bruised all over. Without waiting for the fairies to appear, the girl immediately fled the house. On her way back home she spotted the dog, now covered in pearls, and ran behind it to try and grab some strings, but the dog was gone. A little further she found the well she had refused to clean. As she bent down to get a drink of water, the water inexplicably slipped further down, going out of her reach. Next she came across the oven she had refused to mend, where there was fresh bread and cake, but when the girl tried to touch the bread it burnt her hands. Further along she found the vine she had refused to plow, though she was very thirsty. The vine did not let her have a drink. Finally she found the tree she had refused to help, which was full of green leaves and fresh pears, but as she tried to reach the pears the tree grew taller, moving out of her reach. The girl then continued her walk back home. Her mother was standing at the door, eagerly hoping to see her daughter return covered in gold and rubies. Instead, her daughter returned covered in bruises, with her clothes all dirty. The mother then realized her error, declaring, "You see now, laziness doesn't pay you anything, only a humble and honest heart will be rewarded." She then harshly told her own daughter, "You have no place in this house anymore, you must leave." The wife and her lazy daughter left the house, while the father and his diligent daughter then lived happily ever after. Analysis: this story presents a powerful moral lesson through the contrasting fates of two stepsisters, serving as a clear allegory for the rewards of virtue and the consequences of vice. Daughter left the house while the father and his diligent daughter then lived happily ever after. Analysis: this story presents a powerful moral lesson through the contrasting fates of two stepsisters, serving as a clear allegory for the rewards of virtue and the consequences of vice. The narrative unfolds chronologically, meticulously detailing the actions and reactions of each girl, thereby enhancing the reader's understanding of the key concepts presented at its core. The story explores the profound themes of diligence versus laziness and kindness versus selfishness. The diligent girl embodies positive character traits. Despite facing immense hardship and mistreatment from her stepmother, she consistently demonstrates unwavering dedication to her duties and an innate willingness to help others. Driven by a deep love for her ailing father, her actions are always selfless, as seen when she cleans the tree, plows the vine, mends the oven, cleans the well, and bathes the dog. She does not perform these tasks for immediate reward, but because the beings are in need. Reflecting her humble and honest heart, her father's constant advice to never say no to anyone asking for help and be diligent. Whatever you do, do it with all your heart serves as her guiding principle, shaping every decision she makes throughout her journey. Her ultimate obedience to the fairies' rule not to enter the 7th room even after a full year of work further exemplifies her discipline and adherence to instruction, leading directly to her immense reward of gold, silver, and pearls. The story meticulously details how each act of kindness is reciprocated with every entity she helped, providing her with valuable gifts or sustenance on her return journey, reinforcing the idea that positive actions yield positive returns. In Stark contrast, the lazy daughter represents negative human traits. Pampered and indulged by her mother, she develops an extreme sense of vanity and entitlement, prioritizing her pretty hands and her tiny feet over any form of effort or compassion. Her journey I. Strictly opposed. When faced with opportunities to help, she rudely refuses, citing her desire to avoid getting dirty or exerting herself. Her dismissive remarks like "I will not dirty my clean hands on my pretty feet" underscore her self-absorption and disdain for labor. Her fatal flaw is her inability to follow instructions, specifically her overriding curiosity that leads her to disobey the fairy's explicit warning about the seventh room. This act of disobedience, fueled by a lack of discipline and a desire for immediate gratification, results in painful consequences, as she is stung by frogs and honeybees, receiving bruises instead of riches. Furthermore, the very entities her stepsister helped refuse her aid on her return journey, symbolizing that her selfishness and refusal to assist others come back to haunt her. The well denies her water, the oven burns her hands, the vine offers no drink, and the tree grows out of reach. This reciprocal negation of kindness highlights the theme of consequences of actions, illustrating that what one puts out into the world, whether good or bad, will eventually return to them. The narrative also subtly explores the theme of injustice and its eventual triumph over evil. The diligent daughter endures significant hardship at home, but her unwavering character and work ethic ultimately lead her to prosperity and a reunion with her now healthy father. The stepmother and her lazy daughter, who initially enjoyed a privileged existence through manipulation and idleness, ultimately face rejection and expulsion from their home, stripped of their comforts. This outcome strongly reinforces the moral that only a humble and honest heart will be rewarded, while laziness and selfishness ultimately lead to ruin. The detailed descriptions of the rewards and punishments, from heaps of gold and silver to debilitating bruises and a life of destitution, make the moral abundantly clear and unforgettable.